This morning, we began again a 25-minute before church meditation. I will say that we aren't to the point yet where we need to call for reservations. But we will hold that space. The reason that we do a short practice during our service to kind of give us ideas on how to do this on our own. But this meditation before our service on Sunday, it's 25 minutes. And I believe that when we are in meditation, that is one of the few times in our life experience that we are in genuine presence of our own being. We are absolutely there and focused and present in our breathing, our thought, our contemplation, our pondering, and our connection with our source. And I think that is such a gift that we can offer that time when each of us can experience that genuine, absolute presence with our own self. Do you realize how chaotic life is for all of us? Emily, you've been going through chaos for the last month, like to pull your hair. Don't know which day of the week it is, I'm sure. And many of us, we're so intent on being involved in this and this and this and this and sharing ourselves with this, which is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to share the abundance of the divine flow of everything with the world. And sometimes we get really carried away with that. We do. And we get home and we say, why can't I learn to say no just once in a while? There's a gentleman who I hold in very high esteem, and his name is Jensen. He's a fantastic writer. He's a humanist. He is a spiritualist, a spiritual humanist. He is an ecologist. He is an activist. He participates in a lot of green-based seminars and gatherings and conventions throughout the country. And our mini message person today can't be here, hasn't gotten the green light after a COVID test yet, thought that would be all done. Wayne, Nancy's here, but Wayne couldn't make it. He's got a terrible cold. Thought it might have been COVID, but it's not. He checked out good. He's just feeling crummy. He's had too much fun in Palm Springs. That's all it amounts to. But Derek Jensen, he wrote something once, and over the years I've read it maybe twice in the last 10 years. And I've asked David if he would read it for us today. It's about maybe shutting down and coming away, walking away from all of the drama and the helter-skelter stuff going on in the world around us. Dave, would you please share that with us at this time?
Good morning. As I was practicing this before the service today, an invitation came to me that in the part where Derek Jensen talks about your lover, that you not think about just a human lover, but you also think about the great mother, or Earth herself, as a lover. What if the point of life has nothing to do with the creation of an ever-expanding region of control? What if the point is not to keep at bay all those people, beings, objects, and emotions that we so needlessly fear? What if the point instead is to let go of that control? What if the point of life, the primary reason for existence, is to lie naked with your lover in a shady grove of trees? What if the point is to taste each other's sweat and feel the delicate pressure of finger on chest, thigh on thigh, lip on cheek? What if the point is to stop then in your slow movements together and listen to the birdsong, to watch the dragonflies hover, to look at your lover's face, then up at the undersides of leaves moving together in the breeze? What if the point is to invite these others into your movement, to bring trees, wind, grass, dragonflies into your family, and in so doing, abandon any attempt to control them? What if the point all along has been to get along, to relate, to experience things on their own terms? What if the point is to feel joy when joyous, love when loving, anger when angry, thoughtful when full of thought? What if the point from the beginning has simply been to simply be?
David, thank you. Ask yourself, how long has it been since you walked out in the park or the front yard and just laid down in the grass and looked up at the wind blowing the tree leaves, or watched the clouds sashay softly and quietly across the sky, and felt that they were family? How long has it been? I think too long for all of us. David, thank you very much. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, we thought we were going to say goodbye to Emily last week, but she just got more stuff than she ever knew she had, like all of us. But today we're going to have a little potluck celebration and send her out the door. And you ain't allowed to ever come back, Emily. We're just tired of this. You're just going to have to stay away. Right. Wednesday evening meetings right here, 7 p.m., Wednesday discussion. Everybody's invited. Thursday morning.
A week from Thursday, but we will be talking about how we want to do this, given the new Delta variant happening.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So it's kind of, we'll see, but it's we're holding that space on Thursday morning, and we'll just kind of see what happens. You know, every week, we kind of go week by week. And I hope you all are okay with me not wearing a mask today. If anybody is not, I'll put it on, but I have a lot of trouble breathing with the mask on and trying to speak. But I'm staying back. When I go to the back, I'll wear it. And thank you all for wearing masks. We appreciate it. Gloria. Oh, okay. You were just cheering me on. Okay, thank you. Like I said, Wayne is recuperating. He's going to be here next week, for sure, we hope. And Debbie, thank you so much. Debbie she was going to volunteer playing piano at an event today, and she had to cancel to be here just because she loves us so much. So Debbie, thank you very much. And she's going to be here again next week. And she was here last week. And we're actually thinking about renting one of those little modulars and sitting here in the park so she doesn't have so far to drive. So. What's that?
Live in the
That's it. We could just put a pillow right there. Next weekend is our pancake breakfast. How we have done this in the past for, I don't know, 15, 16, 18 years, long time. Wayne and I usually do the shopping and get everything ready beforehand. Then Friday evening, if we could get about 4 people to show up at whatever time's convenient, we'll kind of figure that out by Friday evening. And we get everything for the feed in the hall and set up. We have butters that we put in little cardboard bowls to put on each of the tables. Put those out. We do not fill the syrups until Saturday morning because ants just love it too much. But we get everything out and set up and prepped for early Saturday morning. And Saturday morning, Wayne and I show up at 5. We put water on to boil for the pans and stuff, and we put the sausage in the oven. At 6 o'clock, we need people to show up to carry out tables in the yard and chairs, put on table covers, and set up the cooking line and the serving line, cover all the tables, carry out chairs, and get it ready to go. And then all during, we need people to mix pancake batter, and Bonnie's always done orange juice. She's actually the queen of orange juice in Sonoma County. She actually has a certificate. And so, but anyway, there's lots of things to do during the meal, making sure the tables are cleaned up when people come and go, and that there's butter and syrup on each table. And then we have cleanup, starts right at 10 o'clock when the parade starts, and usually by 11, 11:15, 11:30 at the latest. It's a memory till next year, but it's a good memory. So Susan started a list. If you can be here Friday to help, that's really good. We lay it all out, rinse everything off, make sure it's clean and ready to use for Saturday morning. Saturday morning from 6 till 8, pretty critical about getting set up. We need some people that can help move tables and stuff outside. And then it's just fun all during the pancake feed. A lot of people come, and it's always fun. And then you get a great parade to watch. And then if you want, go down to the park and have kid games and win prizes for 3 hours after the parade. And if you know anybody that has kids, please invite them. This is a great way for people that have families that have a bunch of kids. Bring them, and we'll fill their little bellies up with pancakes so they aren't wanting everything that's for sale down at the park. And it just makes it a nice day for everybody and not expensive. So that is about it, I think, as far as announcements. Anybody have anything? If not, let's stand up and sing "Open My Eyes That I May See," number 72 in the Wings. it's time we may greet each other. And this brings us to a point where maybe today is Namaste Day, maybe today is Elbow Bump Day, and maybe today's Hug Anyway Day. It's up to you folks.
We're both still alive. I felt it.
We're alive. Yeah, I am.
Charming and lovely. She's got this star of light. I know. First time that's the lowest price ticket. There I know. That way I can see the show. And
Yeah. I want to do LD again. I just do.
I didn't see a chance to go over it.
Yeah. And I would like to get Sylvan and do it again with the accordion and I just, as I listened to that before, it was just, it makes me cry. It's just, and to think I could actually play that.
Now, did you get the music team too? Darn. Your mom took it all. Blame her.
Aren't we fortunate to have each other in our lives? How many people are fortunate enough to have people in your lives that no matter how bad you feel, how broke you are, how upset you are, how bad the bad hair day is, here you can come and you get hugged and you get respected and you get loved and you get accepted. I think that's pretty wonderful. Let's read together our affirmation of abundance. Gratitude is the key to the realization and manifestation of abundance. May we ponder that a moment, please. as we prepare ourselves for the practice, this time again of genuine presence in ourselves. Let's sing together Only Believe, number 152 in the wings.
Good morning. Time for a practice. As usual, you all get what I need. So I may have shared this one before, but it's one of my favorite visualizations. I call it the rose meditation. And the idea is to visualize a rose that represents, to me, the Divine Mother energy that has the ability to hold everything that we're carrying, and that in fact is always holding it, whether we realize that or not. And it also serves as an exercise in release. So let's just start with a couple of deep breaths. Always a good place to start. Kind of like last week's practice, feeling the lower part of the belly, then the middle, then the upper, and emptying in the reverse order, that 3-part breathing we practiced. Give yourself a couple good rounds of that, just to help bring all of you into present time. With that, going to keep your eyes closed and just imagine floating in front of you a beautiful golden rose, a big rose, as big as you can imagine it. Remember that, I'll say this now because it's something that when I first realized really helped me with these visualizations. Sometimes we place limits on what we're able to see without even realizing it, imposing the limits of the physical world on our visualization, when in fact, that is not necessary. Just go ahead and make that rose as big as you can have it, knowing that it will be just the size you need today. Now, just connecting to the energy of that rose, we're now going to just think of or visualize as a color all of the thoughts, feelings, situations, decisions, events, relationships, all of the things that you feel are in some way pulling or weighing on you. Just imagine these things going into that rose. If it works for you, you can imagine your guardian angel helping you to place those things one by one into the loving, infinite arms of the mother, as represented by this golden rose. It may be that after the first round of things you place in the rose, other things rise to your awareness that perhaps you didn't know about before, that you didn't realize were there somehow drawing on your consciousness at a subliminal level, but that now you see actually you have been carrying. And just remember that none of these burdens are yours to carry alone. The opportunity now is to put those things too into the rose. Early childhood memories, hurts that happened a long time ago, world situations, pieces of the news that you've read that somehow bothered you. All the things about life that we feel should be other than they are. We all have a different set. Whether more or less, just let them all go in the rows now. And if you're comfortable with the idea, I do recommend inviting your guardian angel now to help you ensure that you've actually found every little grain of sand, like a stone in your shoe that's been irritating your energy and creating holes where there don't need to be any. Where you've been trying to go it alone without even realizing it. Let all of those things go now into the rows in one last batch. And the next step now is to invite in the divine in whatever form speaks to you to stand beside you as you now see this rose dissolve into pure love and light on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. It might take it a while to dissipate. Just keep breathing. Allow now a column, a waterfall of golden light, replenishing light to fill all the places in your energy field that had been occupied by those things you just let go of. Nature abhors a vacuum, and we're not going to leave it there to draw in other things. Just wrapping that light around, letting it flow, however speaks to you. Just seal in the light of who you are now, knowing that you can do this practice at any time. That it can actually help you release anything from the smallest hurts to the biggest burdens. If practiced with faith. And in gratitude for you, for all the non-physical support we each have, when you're ready, return back to the room. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Isn't it strange when we truly stop and think how much we carry all the time? Wow. We are living in a very unique time in history. I don't think this is necessarily the first time in history that humanity and people have gone through this type of thing. It seems like it's repeated quite a bit over time. But since January 6th, it seems like we've all been carrying a great deal of thought and anxiety and concern about that word that we all hold dear, democracy, freedom. Given a lot of thought to that and how precarious both of those things, democracy and freedom, are. And everybody's talking about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I heard a constitutional attorney one time, very learned individual, speak. He said, when you really stop and think about our Constitution as far as a manifesto of democracy, really it's not. It talks about the rights and privileges set aside for the privileged. And pretty much the same thing with our Bill of Rights. Talks about the rights that people have, especially the privileged, and it sets some restrictions on the power of government. As we look at and think about this Bill of Rights and our Constitution, there's something I think that's very important that's missing. There's a word, and it does not appear in the Bill of Rights or the Constitution. And that word is responsibility. If we want democracy, if we want freedom, if we want justice, if we want equality, if we have those things, we must assume some responsibility for those gifts or rights. Wouldn't it be wonderful if the IRS would start charging you a 10% surtax if you could not show proof of participating in some sort of political activity at least 4 hours a month? Some participation in this thing we call democracy, in this thing we call freedom. A little example. Think about the people that you know in your life, right here in Sonoma County. How many of them can name the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors? How many of those people can name their city council members? How many of those people can name the players on the 49ers? And their wives' names and how long they've been on the team and some very important stats on each one of those players. Well, we assume the responsibility of learning and participating, stuff that has no real impact on our lives. It's a diversion, just a fun thing, a sport. But what about the responsibility we have to take part in something that affects our lives on a daily basis? We all complain about education and the rich guys and this and that. How many of us actually go see our people, our representatives that are supposed to represent us in Sacramento and in Washington, D.C., and right here in Cotati? How many of us go to the city council meetings, make our opinions, and participate in creating the kind of community we want? Something to ponder and think about, perhaps. Now, this is a spiritual community. There's not one amongst us who hasn't had an experience including the dimension and the power and the presence of the unseen, Spirit, God, the divine, whatever you call it. Every one of us in this room has had that, or we probably wouldn't be sitting here. And we certainly wouldn't be coming back week after week if we weren't interested in learning how to recreate those experiences, to learn more about these mysterious powers and privileges of connection with the unseen. That's actually quite a gift, I think. We begin to understand what true connection is about. We begin to understand the power of love and compassion. We begin to reap the benefits of possessing divine intelligence and wisdom. For those gifts, for those rights, for those privileges of that spiritual dimension of experience, I think there is absolutely the requirement of responsibility. That abundance of wisdom, knowledge, love, all that the divine has to offer to all of life. To be aware of that demands the responsibility of us to share that abundance. And we don't have to go down the street telling people they got to believe like me or I'm going to shoot you. But when we understand what caring, real acceptance is like, and we share that with our community through demonstrating that lifestyle, that compassion, that love, that caring, when we demonstrate that through our thoughts and our actions, that's living up to that responsibility. It's kind of been the whole theme today about all the stuff going on in our lives, in our heads, in our communities. What kind? We take on a lot. But when we focus on sharing these divine gifts that we have been made aware of, that each one of us is learning week by week how to use more, how to take advantage of in our lives, how sharing enriches our personal life and enriches the lives of those with whom we share. When we become aware of that, doesn't that free you up? Isn't that rose the rose that consumes all that stuff and sets you free in a very enriched, peaceful, harmonious life? That's a freedom you can't legislate. It's a freedom you can only feel and share by example, perhaps. As I look around this room, I have seen everyone in here, except perhaps the people who have only been here once or twice, share your best. Share some divine love, not physical love or just nicey-nicey. Share some divine, from spirit, compassion and empathy and caring. I've seen each of you take that extra step of kindness. Be willing to do those couple extra hours of whatever for the benefit of those in our community. And when we do that, not only are we living up to this very, very important word, this necessary word, responsibility, but we're also freeing our physical self, our mental self, and our spiritual self. We're able to have some harmony instead of chaos. When we participate in this dimension of awareness of the unseen, it is just as enriching as when we participate in working at the soup kitchen or going to a city council meeting or having a sit down with one of your elected officials and sharing your thoughts and ideas about how you feel our communities, our states, and our country should be governed. Because when you take that responsibility, it does something to you. Like when you have a family, and you have children, and you take responsibility for those children, it changes your life. You have different values than you ever had before in your life. You have different experiences of joy, fulfillment, pain, heartbreak, and love. And those can truly only be felt and experienced when you assume the responsibility as a human being, as a citizen, as a metaphysician, as a spiritually aware person. So I'm going to suggest that all of us take a little more responsibility in our lives. Take advantage of these opportunities of meditation. Take advantage of these opportunities to serve in our community. Take advantage of the responsibility that we happily take to have influence and impact, not only in our government, but in our daily lives, in our relationships. Stop and think about the relationships that you have, the friendships. Is it just call when you need something? A relationship requires an investment. Investing a certain responsibility, truth, loyalty. Every relationship is different. But any relationship you have, whether it be with yourself, your family, your friends, your people at work, your neighbors, it doesn't have the same value until you assume the responsibility of participating in that relationship. Responsibility, a magic word and a freeing word. And so it is. And now let's sing, I am free, I am unlimited. Let's sing it a couple of times. It's one verse. Let's sing it through twice. And again, Debbie, thank you for being here.